It's not just feathers and fishnets. Welcome to the real world behind the sparkle. Welcome to Behind Burlesque, the podcast that lifts the glittery curtain on the lives, lessons, and real talk of the burlesque world. I'm your host, Isabella Bliss, international showgirl, Marilyn Monroe tribute artist, coach, and eternal lover of sequins and storytelling. Each month, I sit down with incredible performers, producers, creatives, and misfits who've made their mark on the world of burlesque and beyond. We talk career highlights, backstage breakdowns, body image, empowerment, and everything in between. Whether you're a fellow performer, a fan of the art form, or just curious as to what really goes on backstage, this is your space to feel inspired, entertained, and maybe even a little bit transformed. Make sure to subscribe and follow for your monthly dose of truth, tassels, and behind-the-scenes brilliance. Hey.
So cute.
What can I say about my first guest? I'm beyond excited to be launching this podcast with my next guest. She is a true powerhouse in the world of burlesque. With over a decade of experience and background in multiple dance styles, she fuses timeless tease with bold neo-burlesque energy that captivates the audiences worldwide. Born and raised in Los Angeles, she began her burlesque journey in 2009 and quickly rose to fame, named one of LA's top performers by Time Out. Featured in iconic shows by Dita Von Teese and appearing in numerous films and publications, she's headlined festivals across the globe, ranked in the top 10 of 21st Century Burlesque's most influential performers list, and continues to leave unforgettable marks with every performance. And she currently holds one of the highest honours in the burlesque world. She is the current title holder of Miss Exotic World, reigning queen of burlesque. Please welcome the incredible Jessabelle Thunder.
Yay. I was like, you're reading all that. I'm like, who is that person? I guess that's me. You make me sound really good.
You are really good.
I need a copy of that for my bio.
Definitely. How does it feel to hear that, like, about yourself? Like, is that quite, like, a lot?
It's a lot. It's a lot. No, but it's accurate. I've done all those things, but it's like, wow, that person sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, am I amazing?
I think sometimes as performers, don't we? We forget the things that we've done and the achievements. And then when somebody reads it back to you, you go, oh my God, I did do those things.
Yeah.
Like, that is really cool.
I know. I try to take some time occasionally when I can remember to like sit and write down or really meditate on the things I've done, because I get so, I'm sure, I don't know if you're the same way, but you get so stuck in everything that's going wrong and forget to look back at the things that have gone right and then proceed from there. It's just always trying to level up, and then you're like, oh right, I have done some really cool things. And it's actually because I'm grateful for this title, like the crown, because not only do I get to represent burlesque, I get to be like an ambassador of burlesque more, but also it's really teaching me that I shouldn't keep making myself small.
Totally.
Because there's so many accolades that I do have, like that you've read, that I'm just like, oh yeah, you don't have to say anything. Or someone's like, what's your intro? What's your bio? And I'm like, oh, it's okay. You don't have to say anything. You can just say I'm from Los Angeles. And then I'm like, oh no, I've done all of these things and I shouldn't like, it feels very like braggy, like braggadocious is the word, if I like say all the things I've done, but I guess it doesn't. It like, if I, it depends on the way I say it, I guess, but I should say these things more often.
Take up space and take up space. Proud of your achievements, isn't it? Of like, say, we're so taught to like, be really humble and play small. But if like we don't champion what we do and share that with others and be proud of that, then how can we light up the world and space for other people to come into that?
It's so true. And get people to see how much more it is than just a small dive bar or small tiny pub, which are great for some things, but people have this idea that it's like either a huge theater or a tiny hole in the wall that we perform at, and that's all we do. Yeah. But there's so much more behind it, and there's so much further that we can all take it. Totally. And I guess, I am proud of my achievements, but I just always try to just be like humble, probably too humble, I guess. I don't know.
It's not a bad thing. So I have some questions to ask you, my darling. We want to talk about your performer's journey. So can you tell us how you first discovered burlesque or cabaret?
How I first discovered it. It was pretty sure it was 40 Deuce. 40 Deuce. I want to tell the story, but tell it in a short form.
Cool.
Hopefully. Anyway, but I feel like I have to preface it with saying I was at a point in my life before I turned 21. Like, I think I was probably 20, probably before 20 as well. I was going through a lot of magazines and finding celebrity hotspots because I was like really big into like in the 2000s, you're big into celebrity culture. I think we all were. So I thought, like, where do the celebrities go? Wherever they go, I want to go there because it's cool. I want to take pictures there. I want to, whatever, all the things. So 40 Deuce was a place that was really popular in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. And it was a cabaret burlesque bar with live music. And so I was on my list. Like, I had Post-it notes of places I wanted to go, and I would scratch them off as I went along the journey, went along and did it. So 40 Deuce was one of them. And I didn't know what burlesque really was, but I'm like, this seems like a really cool environment. And I guess when I turned 21, they closed the one in Los Angeles, but the one in Las Vegas was new and had, was still going and thriving. So a boyfriend I had at the time, we went to that show at 40 Deuce in Vegas. I think I just turned 21 or I was 22, something like that. And in that age range where I was going to Vegas for the first time to really drink, because 21 is the age in the US. So we went to that bar and I was just like mesmerized by it, which I think back on and I go, I probably know, I don't remember who were the dancers, but I know I've probably danced with them currently.
Yeah.
Especially the one in LA. Like, I know a lot of those girls that used to work there. They talk about it. I never saw them, but I get to perform with them now. So it's such a full circle moment. It's so crazy.
It's amazing when you have that experience, isn't it? And I
Yeah.
had a similar, like, when the first ever burlesque show that I went to see, I then within a few years became part of that show. So like, wow, like I'm performing with the people that I looked up to and admired and inspired me to do the art.
What was the first one that you said you went to?
An evening of burlesque.
Oh,
So yeah, it's
okay.
a UK theatre tour. We used to do a lot of European dates as well. But yeah, I saw it at my local theatre and that was my like catalyst of like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny and it's entertaining and it's beautifully presented and it's sparkly and it's empowering. And it was so many things wrapped into one little, bubble of burlesque and cabaret. And I just finally felt like I'd found my home, which I don't know if you had the same kind of like, oh wow, that's where I feel like I belong. So to then become part of the show and it was exciting.
No, that's huge.
But
Yeah.
it's not about me, it's about
No, it's about both of us. But yeah, I went to 40 Deuce, Vegas, became enthralled by burlesque, wanted to go back to Los Angeles to see more. I found other shows that were not like 40 Deuce. They were like themed nerdlesque shows. They were Monday Night Teas, which had a myriad of people from all over the world come in occasionally and do spots there. And then, and then we went to Colorado to go for his brother's graduation. And I was like, we should see a burlesque show in Colorado and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I went and they had a student showcase. And then I was like, well, I didn't know you could be a student of burlesque and do this.
Yeah.
And I turned to him and I was like, I would never do that, but that's really cool. And then we came back to LA and then he was like, surprise, I signed you up for a class. And I literally said, I don't want to do that. I was like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, but you were talking, you seemed so excited. And I was like, no, I can't because I like dance classes, but I always was in the back of the class. I was always like, had to psych myself up to go. It just was really scary just to go to a simple dance class, but to go to a burlesque class and I had no idea what it was, what would happen in the class. It was terrifying, but I was at the time of my life where I was going to school to be a therapist. And so I thought, I need to take more risks so I can become more confident and more of kind of like, not an authority figure, but another word for that. Because you're not, as a therapist, you're not an authority figure, but you're like, you have knowledge, right? And you're guiding a client through something. So I thought I need to have that confidence. So why not take a risk and do things out of my comfort zone to say that I did it and build my confidence. Yeah. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'll just go and do it and say I did it one time. And off my bucket list, and then 16 years later.
That's amazing. Just to think, like, could you ever have imagined, like, going to that first class that, 16 years later you would be the reigning queen of burlesque?
No, not even just that. I never thought I would do anything. I didn't know how far you could go with burlesque. I don't think a lot of people do, but I had no idea I would be doing shows all over the world and meet so many different people and make so many different friends and have a home base essentially here in the UK too. Like I didn't know how far it could take me in life and how much it would change like my life. Not for change completely, but shift it.
Yeah.
Just by doing this one class. Yeah, it's pretty wild when you like reflect on it. I'm like,
You're so grateful that you took that first chance.
I know, grateful to him, I guess. But yeah.
Do you remember what your first performance felt like?
I remember I remember I had a blackout kind of moment, like where I just went on stage and then it was done. I know in the moment I remember being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And people cheering, but I don't know what exactly, I can't put myself back in that moment. Because right now looking back at it, I'm like, oh, I think I just
did
it and blacked out. But I remember coming off stage and being like, that sucked. I messed up. I need to do it again. Like, and
just
so
that drive to straight away want to get back out there.
Yeah. And not get back out there for the joy of like performing. I was just like, it was an adrenaline rush. It felt good, like a nice excitement. But I was also mad at myself for being bad in my head. Yeah, I know from the beginning. But so I was like determined to go out and redo it.
Yeah.
And so Lily Von Strupp was a producer of Monday Night Teas, and she came to that graduation show and invited all of us to come do her show.
Amazing.
And so I was like, yes, I get another chance to do it again. So at the beginning, it was kind of like me chasing this perfection, I guess, of trying to do better with the first act, which is not reality. Like everyone's first act is not going to be perfect.
It's giving yourself the grace to do that, isn't it? And being like, your first act is not always going to be perfect. And even your first few performances aren't always going to be perfect. And actually, even sometimes as a seasoned performer, we used to have this thing on the theatre show where just, there was a lot of pressure of like, being Europe's largest touring theatre show and being the headline act on there. And I would feel that pressure and the weight. And I used to always just say to myself of like, in the wings, I just want to deliver the best performance I can today, right now, for these people right now.
Yeah.
And just that kind of, I found, helped me get over the perfectionism of like, I have to hit every beat and everything has to come off perfect.
Yeah.
It's like just giving yourself that grace and that permission to just show up the best you can that day. And that kind of, I don't know if you could resonate with that.
No, it's very true. I don't tell myself that often enough, but definitely for Burlesque Hall of Fame performances that I've told myself just like, I don't need to win anything. I just want to do a good job. I did think I want everything to go perfectly well. I want things to come off the way they should.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. I just want to do a good job and represent myself well.
The industry.
Yeah.
For sure. And so if you were to describe burlesque to somebody who's never seen a show, what would you say to them? Like for those listening at home or watching on YouTube that have never seen burlesque, how would you say? That's always a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one because there's so much, because you have to condense it to like a sentence to get their attention. And I would say essentially it's a striptease show, but with storytelling elements and dance and comedy and like as a short form just to get someone's attention to get in there. Because if I go on and on about how in depth it is and how life changing it is for people, like they're gonna eventually tune me out, I think.
Yeah.
So I have to give them a short, concise description to pull them in first, and then be like, "Psych, it's actually much deeper than that."
Yeah. And sometimes when you say the word striptease as well, isn't it? People have an instant reaction, and you're like, "No, you need to see it. Like it's not, as you think it is." And it covers so many genres now as well, which is so beautiful of how, and burlesque is always meant to parody and have fun and comedy, and that's kind of the heart and soul of it, which is great.
Yeah.
What do you think makes burlesque different from other forms of performance?
Yeah, I've thought about this. From other forms of performance, I think I don't know, I want to say not from every form of performance, but I feel like burlesque breaks the fourth wall. I think in terms of other dance, mostly in other dance styles and things like that, there's always this look at me element, and not in a bad way. Just like you're on stage, you're doing a ballet, you're doing a Bollywood performance, I don't know, whatever, belly dance, but you're just, look at us as a group, we're here. Or look at me as a soloist, I'm here on the stage, watch what I'm doing. And you're just going through the motions, like with intent, obviously, and entertaining the audience. But I think with burlesque, there's a conversation, a dialogue that happens between the audience and the performer. And I've been chatting about this a lot more recently because I've just been working my brain trying to figure out like, what can I teach people? Like, what more can I say? And I'm like, no, I think that's a big difference in most art forms. Like you're really having a conversation with like your eyes, with your movements. And so it's not just about let me show the audience what I can do. It's also like kind of giving them energy and giving them something, and they're giving it back to you, and you're having this back and forth while you're on stage, So I think that's
the beautiful immersive dance, isn't it? That communication that you have and you share is really, and I think it's very like self-expressive as well, isn't it? I think as burlesque artists, I always say to people, like, we don't go on stage and read somebody else's scripts or sing somebody else's songs. Like everything we create in our little microcosm of an act is from our heart and soul. We pick our own music, we make our own choreography, we do our own costumes, we're our own little in-house production company, and therefore what we present to our audiences on stage is like, here's my soul. Sparkles.
It's so true with sparkles. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. There are other dance forms that do that as well, but it is not so, I don't know. Yeah. I want to say regimented or rules. There's no real rules, restrictions.
Yeah. It's the freedom of creativity. Being exactly who you want to be. And sharing that with others is what definitely inspired me, I think, and drew me into the art form of like, oh, you can create this thing and it can be, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. I think the first thing I remember, not the first, obviously, but one of the things I remember thinking when I first started creating my first act was how cool it was to get to do my own choreography to the music of my choice. In terms of me thinking of it like in opposition to a dance class. Like, so I was going to a bunch of dance classes, and I'm like, when I show up to a dance class, I don't know what the song's going to be. I don't know what the choreography is going to be. And so I'm doing it because someone else has given it to me. And it's fun. But I remember thinking about burlesque and being like, wow, I can actually do this on my own. I can choose my own music and do whatever choreography comes to my brain. Like, that was really exciting. I remember that.
Really liberating.
Yeah.
And can you share a moment on stage that was especially meaningful to you?
I mean,
the recent ones.
Yeah. If you would ask me a couple months ago, I would have said something different, I'm sure. Who knows? But I think definitely like being at Burlesque Hall of Fame this year and being given a crown and a trophy for Beehoff was really cool.
Special.
That was really meaningful. Like, for many reasons. Like, one, that was my best friend that announced me, and he said, like, Tito Bonito, he said all the time, every time I've been at Beehoff competing, he's like, you're gonna win. And I'm like, shut up, I'm not gonna win anything. And this is the first year he was actually right.
So
He's just being a good best friend.
Oh,
but how many times at Beehoff?
Competed at Beehoff?
I think this is the 5th time.
Wow.
I did best debut in 2014, and then I did 2016, competed for Miss Exotic World, and then 2018, what is that? Is that 3? 24, best debut, first time Exotic World, 2016. 2018, I competed again and got first runner-up. And then 2023, I competed for Mixed Exotic World. That time it had shifted. And then now this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a real testament of like pursuing your art and your dream and your career and not giving up because you got, you didn't maybe not achieve something you thought the first time round. And like so many people let those setbacks put them off of ever pursuing something again. But you showed like the determination to just keep showing up and working there.
Yeah. And it wasn't even about winning a title for me. Like, that was kind of like, that's great. But it was more of, I mean, it's amazing, obviously, to win something. But that wasn't my driving force, was never to be the queen of burlesque. Like, I have to get that. It was just, I want to be, because it's such a prestigious competition for us. So for me, out of all the festivals and the competitions, it's at the number 1. And so number 1 because of the amount of people that go, the amount of people that apply, the amount of people that get chosen. Like, it just means a lot just to be on that stage. Even if you don't win anything, it just means so much to be there. It's not the end all be all, right? Because some people don't get in, and it doesn't mean you're not good. It just means the act wasn't what they were looking for at that time. Anyway, but for me, it was like just being on that stage and being presented in front of my peers from all over the world was just like a big thing. Like I wanted to be seen and seen in a good light to more people, basically.
And it's so part of our burlesque history and our culture, isn't it? Like you say, the Burlesque Hall of Fame is just like such an iconic. Like if you don't know what that is in burlesque, it's like, do you even know what burlesque is?
Yeah, that's facts.
But how was that experience? Like because I know we spoke the other day and you were saying that, you just wanted to go out on the night and just give your best performance and that you wasn't worried about winning. You just wanted to do the best you could then. And so how was it in that moment when you were standing on stage and they were calling out like second runner up and first runner up?
Yeah.
And you were just like, and then you kind of like heard your name. What was that experience like?
That's so weird. It was really weird. It's still weird because this is what, couple months, weeks, I guess, after, and it's still weird. Still hasn't. I still go, oh yeah, that happened. That wasn't a dream. Oh, that wasn't just one weekend thing. This is like an ongoing thing. Anyway, at the moment on stage, I had already had in my head who I thought was going to win. I was like, oh yeah, these people, this person, this person. So when names got called, I was like, huh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And Tito actually told me, he said, he's like, I swear, girl, if your name is in the envelope, I'm going to be the one to say it. Like, he's like, Delilah's going to be there, but I want to be the one. If it's your name and I open the envelope, you'll know because I'm going to be the one to say it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I roll because I always eye roll at him. I love him, but I'm always like, yeah, whatever. And then on stage, when names got called, that I was like already like, what's happening? Like, I shook it up. And then I heard him get on the microphone and say, in our mixed exotic world. And I literally was stood there like on stage next to Ariel Helvetica and someone else. And I kept going, no, out loud being like, no. And then his voice cracked and I was like, oh my God. Like, it just like, and then I started tearing up and I was like, this can't be happening. And then he said it and just like hearing everyone's excitement just felt so heartwarming. Like I really, really, truly felt like loved and supported by everybody, like in the world. Like it was so nice to get messages from people from all over the world being like, you deserve this. It was so meaningful to us. And it's fun. Like I knew it was going to be your time to get it. And you're an amazing person. Like so many people giving me so many nice messages that I really felt like, I was like, I do feel love from everybody.
Sweet. And
like
and like you say, people come from all around the world and like it, and people from all around the world watch it and we all tune in and like want to see who's, the next queen. And it's just really, it's wonderful that.
Yeah.
What
Queen
or
king. Or whatever title they choose. Yeah. That's exciting.
Has it inspired you on your creative journey as a burlesque artist and a performer? Has it changed your inspiration and your drive and your journey since having the title?
Not so much. Not too much. I do feel like a little bit of pressure to create a new act sooner than I would, because I have like a playlist of songs I want to do acts to, but I just haven't done anything yet because I haven't felt inspired to build a costume, whatever. So that performance aspect is like something I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I need to do that. But in terms of where I want to take my burlesque journey, like that hasn't changed. Because before BHOF happened, I was already talking to friends of mine about how I want to elevate LA burlesque. I want to get burlesque more into like mainstream people, like more to different audiences, and really get it into the media and get it respected and valued as an art. Get people excited about it too, to come to shows, because as we know, like things are closing left and right. So I was like, what's the issue here? Like people aren't coming to shows. They're not excited about it. I kept saying, wrong choice of words, but I kept saying, people don't care about burlesque besides us. And so I'm like, how do I make people care about it? And so that was something I kept thinking about well before BHOF happened and just having conversations with friends. So now that like BHOF has happened, I'm like, right, okay, now I have this backing me up with the crown and the community. And so I'm like, I have to go harder on these things. Like I have to really push myself even more to like make these things happen.
Yeah.
Like to reach different audiences, to elevate LA burlesque. And so it's really like pushed me a bit harder, I guess, to do those things that I was already thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something like every burlesque performer can take away from that message as well, isn't it? Of like, the only way to elevate our art form is to elevate ourselves and make sure that we're showing the outside world that it is a profession. It is something that people do as a career. It is a beautiful art form. It's not just something that I don't know, I can't find the words to do but it is art, and it is art that's valuable and meaningful, and it comes from a long history, and so many people throughout history have fought for us to be able to perform this art form now, and it's really important to honor that memory and that legacy. Or that's kind of how I've always felt stepping out on stage, of like,
Yeah.
I get to do this because of a long line of people before me stood up to make sure that we could do this, because
Yeah.
like that kind of unknown knowledge that actually, like, early on in the burlesque, history of like people were being arrested for it, because it was kind of like scandalous that,
Yeah.
and how like nipple tassels actually came around because people weren't allowed to be breasted on stage. So the censorship was that you had to wear nipple tassels. And,
Yeah.
like, the kind of, I love the boldness of all of the artists throughout the years, of every time there was a censorship of telling them, oh, you can't do that or don't do that. They kind of found this like rebellious way round to make sure that the art
Yeah.
could survive and grow and evolve.
Yeah.
And so kind of,
Definitely.
it's a really, I like that about the rebelliousness of burlesque.
It is
like,
very much so. And that word empowerment, it's like we have to, I think 21st century talked about that word empowerment being overused, and I get it, but it's also like a quick, again, easy way for people to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's rebellious, it's empowering, it's like meaningful, it's, so much. And I also think, I'm trying to think of the right words or how to say it, but in order to get more mainstream people to attach to it and get excited about it, we have to talk to them about the history of burlesque, yes, but also about in what you were saying about the different people that paved the way. Like, it's also not just burlesque people, it's also like women's rights in general.
Yeah.
And feminists back in the day who, they weren't doing burlesque, but they were doing other things to like shape the world and like, things like that. So without those people that fought for our rights hard, and, maybe those burlesque people were inspired by those women in politics, or, there's so many different crosshairs, is that the word? Or so many different like lanes, I guess. Yeah, that it can be attached to burlesque. And I think that's what people don't see enough. They think, people always go, oh, it's nudity. People don't want to touch nudity.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so much deeper than that. Like when I go to shows, I often forget, or when I invite people to shows, I often forget that people are taking their clothes off.
Yeah,
and people don't like that. And I go, oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
Isn't it interesting though? That experience comes from other people's shame about their body, and how we've been so culturally drummed into that any way of showing your body in a sensual or sexual way
Yeah.
is like a negative thing, and we shouldn't do that. And it's like, it's completely natural, and we need to like get over that kind of shaming of ourselves and our bodies, and shaming of other women, and shaming of other people in burlesque, because it's not just about women.
Yeah.
But like getting over that shame of being like, there is nothing wrong with being, expressing yourself in a glamorous, naked, fun way, and kind of get over that body shaming would be a great leap in kind of society in general.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's so like, in chatting to a bunch of people on this recent trip, like we were talking about, I've been talking about how other forms of art or other media are like borrowing from burlesque, like doing burlesque things, but nobody wants to fully go into burlesque. And I think it's because they have an issue with nudity. And it's not even like we're not fully nude. We're just taking things off in a sensual, not even always sensual, sometimes a funny way.
Yeah.
Just we're taking things off. And people just only like attach to that. And it freaks them out. It makes them uncomfortable. But art is supposed to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's supposed to make you think, isn't it? And challenge your perspectives. And that's like the beauty of burlesque, is some burlesque presentations are so powerful in their art form that they really challenge you down to your soul. Like, burlesque can be really political at some levels. And, you know, it's great to see all aspects of that. I think, you know, explaining to people that have maybe not been to a burlesque show of like burlesque can be anything from like the high-end glamour to the comedy to the gory to the political. It like really does, that's the beauty of the art form, is it crosses so many themes and genres,
Yeah,
and challenges you, and it should
it
do.
does. Yeah. And it just, even if it's not a political act, just what we do is political.
Yeah.
Just being like, you know, I know everyone, lots of people do it, obviously, but I'm just in my brain right now chatting to you about it. But as women, just being on that stage and taking up space without taking anything off and being and saying like, look at me, that's political.
Yeah.
Because so many people have issues with
Just
women.
women taking up space.
Yeah.
I've seen some beautiful videos online of Pearl Noir, and like watching her. I watched a performance of hers recently where she didn't even have a track
I
playing,
saw that. Yeah.
and
That's pretty
she
cool.
like owned that room with her. And I don't even think she took anything off, but the way she entered that room with such presence, grace, and really sat in her own power. I was like, that is beautiful, and we kind of like, you know, need more of that. It was just, it blew my mind watching her do that performance. And she was one of the people, I think, early on when I got into burlesque, of like looking up that, you know, she was really iconic.
She definitely is one of the leading figures of the times. Like when most of us started, I guess when you and I probably started, is like, it was Pearl Noir, Dirty Martini, Joe Boobs. I mean, they're still out there killing the game, but those are people I remember.
Yeah.
Like,
And we were talking the other day about the difference between what we would say like American style burlesque and British burlesque. And because, so you come from LA and you've performed a lot in the UK and Europe. What's your experience been of the styles? Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think everyone, you know, obviously, to preface it with, everyone everywhere has different styles. But to like kind of just lump it in, I think in the UK and Europe, it feels more like, like I said, theater based, like based in theater, like comedy. And I think a lot of it is quite silly, like has a lot of silly elements to it, and also super serious elements in the UK and Europe. But I think in America, I feel like we have that too. Like, just again, all places have a mixture. But I think a good way to kind of talk about American burlesque is like, it's very, like I said, rooted in strip club stripping. I think in terms of like, we're often on the floor, we're a bit more gritty, we're a bit more like grimy, and not in a bad way. It's a bit more like nasty, I guess, and not in a bad way at all. But like, you know, there's a lot more bumps and grinds, a lot more humping the floor. There's a lot more floor work in general. I don't do enough floor work, but I like it. I love watching it. But I feel like in saying it very quickly and concisely, like I definitely see a lot more Americans getting down on the floor than I do British people. And like throwing things, like it's wild. It's more wild. Like people have said to me that I'm like a wild, controlled, wild performer. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I do throw my stuff around all the time. I fling it mostly out of anger because it's not coming off completely the way I want it to. So I just throw things. But it is a bit more good chaotic, I guess. But I feel like, in America, it feels much more sexual, not just sensual, much more sexual. So maybe that's why people have an issue with it in America. The puritanical, religious things.
We'll get in there. We'll get in there.
But again, everyone's different all over the world. But if I had to say,
those would be
those were the two, I think.
Yeah, it's probably like our British way of like either stiff upper lip or silly sense of humor. Like maybe, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I first got into burlesque in this country, of like it was very much like there was a looking down on people that were strippers and burlesque performers. So like it wasn't cool and it wasn't trendy. And I came from striptease.
Yeah.
And so I had to very much hide that part of myself because it just wasn't accepted in our community here. And it's been really beautiful to see that change, you know. And meeting Joe King was a big, because you had lunch with Joe the other day. Joe King's our British burlesque legend. And I remember the first time I did a show with Joe and she kind of pulled me aside and she was like, you're a stripper, aren't you? I was like, oh my God, it busted. I felt like so mortified. And she was like, no, she was like, it's your greatest superpower. She was like, you need to lean into that for your performance style. And so that kind of became my thing. I was like, okay, I'll honor that and lean into that. And that helped me connect with my audience and not being ashamed of that and sharing that with people and being able to talk about that. I think the more we can talk about those things, the more comfortable people can get if you have conversations.
It's so true. It's so true. Also, I've had friends of mine tell me over the years, because, we like kind of like what you said, you were trying to fit yourself into a burlesque box, but burlesque is not just one thing, which probably also, I'm just going into tangents, probably also why people have an issue with it, because they can't define it perfectly. And that makes them uncomfortable. And it should make you uncomfortable, because that's what art does. Anyway, like, we try to fit ourselves into this box of what burlesque is.
Yeah.
And then what makes it even better is when we can just be our unique selves and not try to fit into a mold. Because for a long time, I was just like, I want private gigs. I want to be paid lots of money, so I have to have a classic act. I have to be dripping in rhinestones, and I have to have all these, a giant boa and giant like, I thought, so I had to have all these things to like fit in this box of doing burlesque. And I got most of those things, and I still didn't get what I thought I was gonna get. And so a friend of mine was just like, what makes you special and what draws people to you is that you aren't putting yourself in this like stiff box, like, keep doing what you do, and someone will come along and see it and love it. And people will be inspired by just doing what you do, not trying to fit into a mold that everyone else does. So I think, like, owning the strip club stripping, like, it's great, and infusing that more into what you do as burlesque is like really great.
And it's the art of burlesque, and it's like, show up authentically as yourself. And you can't go far wrong with anything in life. I think when you just 100% show up authentically as yourself, and then people can see you and love you and accept you. And hopefully by showing up authentically as yourself, you can then inspire others to also authentically show up as themselves as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Is there something that you think about the burlesque world that might surprise people?
Everything. I think everything.
Everything. Just go see a show.
Yeah, just go see multiple shows.
Yeah.
Because I think, I've been saying this for ages, is that I think people go to a quote unquote, what I think, whatever, is not a great burlesque show, like a bad burlesque show, right? I think that happens a lot. People just go see a show and they don't like it, and they think it's bad, and like, oh, the burlesque is terrible, I've never seen another show again. But it's like, ugh, you just saw that one show. Like, go see multiples, because they're all different. They're all going to be different. And go to like what your thing is. Like, if you like nerd less, you could find it. If you like queer less, you can find it. If you want burlesque and drag, you could find it. Like, it's just search for it. But people just go, oh, I'm going to go see a burlesque show. And they go to one and they're like, I don't like it. I hate it. Never seen it again. And it's so frustrating, because there's so much of it out there all over the world. And people just need to keep, like, find multiple shows, and you'll see what you like.
Yeah. And just like keep getting out there and supporting shows, isn't it? We were discussing earlier about how many kind of cabaret spaces and venues have shut down over the last few years, because people aren't going out anymore. It's much easier to sit at home and watch TV, and it's kind of like being out in a room with other people watching art and sharing that art together is such a beautiful experience. And I hope that people remember, or start to remember, that there is something really magical about being in a room with people witnessing art, talking to your friends that you're with about art, and just like celebrating that in a space together as human beings. That togetherness is really important. So I really hope that over the next few years, people start to remember that going out and sharing those spaces, and shows, see more shows.
Yeah, being together, exactly. And it's not just cabaret that's suffering, or burlesque shows. It's like a lot of different live entertainment things. People aren't going out. And no, you're right. Like,
and
it's being together is like a special,
and
we need it.
Yeah, and you can see like a burlesque show for a fraction of the price of like, you could go to like your favorite artist concert and pay like, £300-400 for a ticket. Whereas you could go to support some local burlesque shows and it might be, I don't know, anything from £10 to £35 a ticket. And think
Yeah.
how many more shows you could see for your £400.
It's so true. It's so true.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of get more people back to shows.
We just have to figure out like how to grab them. And I think doing what you're doing, like this podcast and things like it will help. It's definitely helpful. And we just have to push it out there to more people so they can understand that it's not just only like, oh my God, they're stripping.
Yeah. And that was the kind of like the ethos behind wanting to do this podcast, is because so many performers that I've met over the years have such incredible stories about how they got into the industry and what inspired them to pursue the industry and what continues to inspire them. And I was like, God, I wish people could hear the stories that I hear, because I find them so inspiring. Like, one of the biggest things I get excited about backstage is when I meet new performers and I'm like, so what inspired you? Like, how did you get in it? Because I find it inspiring. I was like, if we can find a way to share that with other performers or up and coming performers or people that maybe don't know a lot about the industry, then hopefully it gives them a different insight to the people behind the sparkles on the stage,
Yeah, definitely. I know when I had my Instagram, when I first got my Instagram post or account, I was like, I want it to be a scrapbook for myself. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to show people the person behind the sparkles. Like I wanted to show people like I'm not just this like stiff burlesque performer who just only does this one thing. Like I have other things I do, showing them like, the behind the burlesque, like the podcast.
Like the podcast. How do you stay inspired or motivated creatively?
That's a good question. How do I stay inspired? I get, just meeting people, traveling the world definitely has been helpful. I didn't always get to do that. Like I'm privileged that I can do that, but that is very like seeing different, being in different shows with different people and meeting people and then seeing how they do burlesque is very inspiring.
You always learn something from other people, don't you? Do you find that? I always love standing in the wings and like watching people that like I get to share the stage with. And there was so many times on an evening of burlesque where I would just be like standing in the wings, like watching on these theatre stages and just being like, my God, these people are amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, and I get to share a stage with these people. It's just like buzzing. And
it's so true.
And everyone you meet along the way, isn't it? They inspire you creatively. You make beautiful friendships around the world. You have incredible experiences that, had you not delved into the art form itself, you wouldn't have had kind of those experiences.
It's so true. I often think like, where would I be if I didn't do this? I have no idea. I can't even fathom like what kind of person I would be without having done burlesque at all. Yeah. Music also inspires me, going back to that question. That's one of my big like personal inspirations. Music is always first for me.
Hear that song and then you go, oh my God, I have to create an act to that.
Yep, exactly.
Is there a song on your playlist at the minute that you think that's the next one?
I can't say because then people might take it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we won't ask that. Good point. It's hard sometimes to find songs that people haven't already done an act to as well.
So true.
There's like some songs that are like staples in burlesque. But then I think for like burlesque to move with the times, what a lot of us are trying to do now is not always use like classic bump and grind numbers that we all grew up with that hail from the heritage of burlesque. Like a lot of us are trying to, and a lot of performers do, really cleverly and really creatively blend voiceovers and different tracks and create their own unique piece with the music. And I love that.
I definitely from the start, well, actually I can't, that's a lie. From the start I thought it had to only be fever and summertime, and like I thought that's what burlesque was. And then I learned being in LA, took a class and they were like, the instructor was like, oh no, I do modern music. And that just blew my mind instantly. And I thought, oh my God, scrap all this stuff, throw it away that I had. I'm doing these two songs, one of these two songs. And one was like Get Off by Prince was like
No.
one of the first ones I was thinking about doing. And the first one I did was NERD, She Wants to Move.
Wow.
It was between those
Yeah.
two songs because they were just songs I just remember being a kid and listening to music in the car all the time and just creating my own choreography in my head, like based on the story of the song and the music. And so Get Off was like, I don't know. I love that music video with
Yeah.
the butt out, and just it was so great. So I was like, that song, and then NERD, She Wants to Move, and that's the one I chose. But yeah. That I thought it had to only be these classic songs. But so now all the songs I have in my playlist for potential acts are new songs. Like nothing's old. Like old, I guess, 90s, but
That's what keeps you inspired, though.
yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who's curious about trying burlesque for the first time?
Just do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Just try it because you just never know what could happen. That's what I did. I was like, you know what? Just go for it. Just take a risk and I'm not a theater kid. I'm not a dancer. I've not been on stages. It's never solo ever. But at that time in my life, I was trying to push myself. So I did do a solo talent show and I did something else that I did. I think I took a debate class or something like that. Just to get myself to take more risks, to push myself to do things I wouldn't normally do. So all that to say, I was never someone that would stand on stage by themselves. Like you could ask anyone in my family or friends from back in the day and they'd be like, no, we never thought she would ever do this. It's really weird. Like that's not the person that we knew. But yeah.
And that's the inspiration, isn't it? Of like you 16 years ago could have never imagined that this would be your life now, but you had the courage to show up for yourself and take that chance and that opportunity and look at the beautiful adventure that's taken your life on. And
yeah,
that's what I kind of always say to people. You're thinking about trying it, just go to a class. Like you don't have to get into burlesque because you want to be a professional on stage. Like you can take weekly classes somewhere just because you want to have fun and connect with your body and move and have maybe a community of people that you connect with every week. It's that, isn't it? It's the kind of, connecting with your body, connecting with a community of people and just having a space to express yourself for fun, which is so important. I think as adults, we lose that ability to have fun.
That's so true. So true. Yes. I know when I first did my first class, I remember going to 40 Deuce and seeing the girls there that are dancing and they all look one way. They were all trained ballet dancers. They were all slim. I never thought I could ever do it personally. Not that I didn't think I had the confidence that I didn't, but I also thought, oh, I look like this, so I could never do burlesque. And then when I went to my first class, no one in the class looked like that. Yeah. Everyone looked so different. And they all had different levels of experience. And I thought, whoa, this is a game changer.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the art form, isn't it? Is like it is all inclusive and it is for everybody. And I think that's really important for people to understand that is like it's a welcoming, safe space to like just dip your toe in and be expressive and just have fun and play and for all shapes and sizes and like genders and all of the like ways that you want to express yourself. You can find a safe home in burlesque and do that and be authentically yourself and be your kind of crazy creative weirdo, and that people are going to love it. Find your kind of tribe, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
What would you say is the best piece of advice you've received for your career?
The best piece of advice. Oh gosh. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, like what people have said. I know along the way people have said things. You know what? No. I guess the best piece of advice I got was at the beginning. I've had lots of advice along the way that has always been helpful and useful. But I know at the beginning, Lily Von Stupp, who was doing Monday Night Teas, that was the producer that I did my second performance was at her show. And I remember her telling me, you are very talented. You have the right moves. You've like really entertaining on stage, but you're missing you don't have, she didn't say the words like that, I don't think, but she's like, you don't have an audience connection. Like you're missing the piece about the audience connection. And I sat with that and I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I have no idea. I'm not a theater person. I'm like, what could that even mean? I have no idea. And then I went to I dwelled on it for ages, being like, what is that? Because I would look into the audience, but I would look through them. I would look above them because it was just, it's nerve-wracking. I've never been on stage before. I was like, this is terrifying. So I would just go through the motions of doing my choreography. And then I thought it was fine. And then she said, audience connection. So then I went to Burlesque, which is the convention in Seattle where they do lots of workshops and lectures. And they had a class. I can't remember who was teaching for the life of me. I can't remember who taught it, but it was about connecting to your audience. And I remember being like, I'm just going to take that class, which is something in hindsight. I'm like, wow, that's pretty bold of me to be like, I'm going to fix this and to take this class because I'm not good with one-to-one, like intimate, like, I'm not great at it. So I was just something in my brain was like, do this class and take it. And I think something in that class like snapped in my brain and I was like, I get it. And I just started doing burlesque slightly differently, whatever it was I'm doing. And now people comment on that,
Your connection.
that aspect of my performance. Yeah. And I don't know what clicked in my brain, what someone said in that course, but whatever it was, it worked out.
And that's the thing, isn't it, as an artist or when you're growing up through the industry, is being able to take those like advices and criticisms from people and sit back and look at yourself and your performance and go, does that make sense? Do I need to work on that? Can that make me a better performer? And then leaning into that is like how you grow and evolve. Of like, I always think like never think that you're too good to learn something. Even now, like I still take advice from people and I'll ask people that I value their advice because I think you can always grow and be better and do better.
Because we're only going to be better together as a community.
Yeah.
Better together. Yeah.
What's the one thing that you can't perform without?
Music.
Yeah.
I mean, as we see, Pearl Noir, I can do it without music.
Yeah.
But I think I need music.
Have you ever had your music cut off?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But I've powered through it. I've definitely, I don't know. I'm thinking, my brain is thinking about a bunch of things. But if people could also see how that aspect of burlesque is like life-changing too, right? Because when we have chaotic moments, we push through and we carry that outside into our real lives. Because I still have a little bit of a mini meltdown when things don't go right, but I go, it's fine. It's going to work out. And that comes from having that experience of live entertainment where things go wrong. You're just like, I have to keep going. Yeah, like either. I have to keep going. Like I've had music cut off completely as I've already entered and started taking things off. And I'm like, I guess I'll just stand here and talk to people. And the music kicks back on. I'm like, here I go. Or I've had, in recent times, I was doing a new act and the music cut out like briefly and then started up again. But it was an instrumental portion. So I couldn't mid-stage performing, I didn't know where the song was, but I just kept going. And people were like, we didn't even notice that it did that. Like you just kept going. And I'm like, yeah, because I didn't know what else. I couldn't stop.
It's the resilience, isn't it, that you build as an artist, like over the time and over the years of like, I think it's important to say to people at home, like, we step out on different stages every night. Every stage might be a different size. There might be a different surface on the stage and you've got to be able to dance your number on a different stuff. The stage might be raked. You might be in somebody's garden. Like you might be in a little cabaret bar. You might be on a theatre stage, but you're constantly looking at that space and developing your act as you go and how you fit it into that space and connect with your audience. And then if stuff goes wrong, if a bit of costume gets stuck or like the music cuts out, you're in the moment going, well, it's live theatre and you just keep going.
Yeah. And what if the audience hates you? Well, not hate's a strong word, but what if they're like, I'm just here. It's because someone told me to be here. That also is part of the environment. Like the audience can be, you can have everything right, like a nice, beautiful stage, nice, beautiful lighting, but it could be an audience of people that have no idea what this is. And they're just like sat back getting ready to judge you.
Yeah.
And you have to just keep going.
Do you feel you have to work harder in those situations? Like the difference between when you step out on a stage and an audience is prepped well by a host and they know what to expect, and the difference between when you step out on a stage and the audience aren't quite there. How do you deliver your performance differently, like to overcome that boundary?
I don't know that I actually do anything quite super different. I definitely have over the years of me doing it, I don't shy away from people who don't seem that they like it. Like that makes me want to go towards you more,
Yeah.
actually. Like I know I can tell, and we have the superpower, right? I think as
Yeah.
burlesque performers, we can tell people who are uncomfortable but they like it, and people who are like, hell no, get away from me.
Yeah,
Like you can kind of in the split second tell who those people are, and be like, okay, I'll move away from you, but I'll go over here to this person. Or you can see the people who are like stoic, but they like love the attention,
Yeah.
and so you're able to read people
Yeah.
a lot better. And when those people are like sat back, just like arms crossed, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna come closer to you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna crack you. I'm gonna make you crack. And it's like a challenge.
Yeah. And I've seen performers do that. And I've like, they really hone in on somebody and that's sitting kind of near the front. And then it's just like that kind of desire to win them over in a fun way.
Yeah.
Of like, come on, we're going to get you on this team.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to love this by the end of it. Trust me.
I've had so many of those experiences, but I've also had experiences where people are like, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, it's like, come on, enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
like giving yourself, I think when you go to a burlesque show, isn't it? Of like giving yourself permission to open your heart and mind and just let your mind wander and be present in the experience. And just, it's like letting your child dance, isn't it? I always think whenever you go to live theatre, live performances, you're letting your inner creative and your inner child just dance and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And like almost like getting out of your own way and kind of just going, oh, let's just see what happens. And like having more approaching going to shows with more curiosity than you do judgment. You know, I think if more people went into spaces of any arts with more curiosity than we do judgment, because people seem to pass judgment very quickly.
Yeah.
Without being curious as to like, oh, I wonder why they do it, or you know, how do they do it?
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying like, I like this or I'm gonna hate this.
Yeah, there's no in between. And they can be in between.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can be like, I like a bit of this, but I don't like this, and I like this. But until you've sat through, like we said before, like lots of different shows and like, yeah, have conversations with performers when you can, and just, you know, have more conversation and more connection. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to like that thing about winning people over or not, it made me think about something that I don't know. I don't want to say it's not trivial. That's not the right word, but just I get a kick out of sometimes going to different shows all over the world,
Yeah.
and people talk about me, but the audience doesn't know who they're going to see, maybe because I'm not on the fly. I don't know, whatever it is. I like when people say all these things about me, and I can guarantee that people have an expectation of what they're about to see. And then this Black performer comes out who's not super skinny, and they're just like instantly like, wait, a brain shift. You know what I mean? Like I like that aspect of burlesque too, that we can shift people's minds just by being who, like you said, being authentic, being who we are on stage. And I think a lot of people have this idea, like I had in the beginning, like it only looks one way.
Yeah.
And then if I come out on stage, like I really owned that more than I used to in the past. I've owned being like, oh right, yeah, I can really stand in my Blackness and be like fully me. And people are it's gonna trigger something in them, and it's gonna shift their thinking. And that's what I want to happen. I want people to be like, oh, this was just something I didn't expect, and I like this.
And that's the beauty, isn't it, of burlesque, of like, you're not going to go to a show where like it's typical lineup of like straight white women of a certain shape and size and aesthetic, and there is a time and a place for that. But to be able to challenge people's perspectives and narratives to say, you know, other bodies do exist.
Yeah.
Other women exist. You know, men can do this. Transgender people can do this. Gay people can do this. Like it's disabled people can do this. Like all body people can do this. And the more you expose yourself to seeing all body types and all people from all walks of life,
Yeah.
the much happier you're going to feel in yourself. And I think that's a really, we was going to say the word
Yeah, no, I don't.
throw it around. It's like, get out there and understand that all bodies are valid. All bodies can be represented on stage and deserve to be, and that we're all just human beings that just want to share art and just kind of step away from that narrative of it has to look a certain way and be a certain type of performer. And I think more shows are leaning into that kind of, like, I always feel like diversity is the wrong way, because it should just always be everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody should always be represented the best way we can.
Yeah.
And it's so good that you recognize that and you own your power on stage, and you show up and you show that for other women that maybe like look like you and don't realize that they can do what you do, and then they see you on stage and they're like, there's someone who looks like me and has my body shape, and like I can be that too.
Yeah.
That's like a really powerful way to shift people's mindsets, isn't it?
And not just like I can look at that person doing, they look like me, I can do burlesque too. It's not even, because some people don't want to do burlesque, like you said. They just want to feel seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know if you have the same experience, but I've spent my whole life just not feeling like I was represented. And so that's really affected my self-confidence throughout my entire life to this day, honestly. I'm like so self-conscious, and I don't have the highest self-esteem because I didn't see a lot of people that look like me and represented in a great light.
Yeah.
And so when people go to a burlesque show and they see someone that represents them some way, it doesn't have to be the skin color. It could just be hair color, hairstyle, body type, whatever. It could be anything. And when they see that on stage and see that person being confident and taking up space, they internalize that and can carry that throughout their day or their life. They don't have to get on stage and do it just to get that, that message or that confidence.
And it's always like wanting people to feel more confident in themselves, isn't it? I think that's one of I love burlesque and the art form, and I love stepping on stage to inspire others to feel more confident in their own skin. I always feel like I'm up there being unashamedly sexy. I'm a bit around.
Yeah.
Lumps, bumps, and everything. And just by expressing myself in that authentic way, hopefully it inspires other women to, anyone, to express their self in their full power. I always say to people, like, I think everybody should be a stripper once in their life, because I want them to understand that when you feel so confident in your own body and your own skin, and you really get to grips with that, you're like unstoppable. It's like, negative comments about your body, just like you just go, well, I'm happy with this. Like, I live in this body, and I'm happy and I own it. And I would love for the art form to be able to share that confident experience with other human beings, and be like, just... because we're so taught by the media and society, like you say, of like everything should be a certain way, and we're all taught that something is wrong with our bodies. Like it's the barrage is just every day, and the more people that wake up and be like, I'm okay exactly as I am, and I am happy exactly as I am, and I can love my body exactly as it is, then that's like revolutionary, kind of life-changing things.
So true. It's so true, because a lot of people, like you said at the beginning, a lot of people's disdain for something is because they feel uncomfortable. They don't feel secure in themselves. Not that we all have to feel 100% secure. It's not true. It's not reality. But a lot of people are far more insecure, and they take it out and project it into other people. And that's where the issue, I think, comes from. Yeah. So I feel like if more people were, like you said, more confident and comfortable in themselves, it would change the entire world so much.
That's how we change world peace.
It's so true. It's so true. Because I talk to my friends about this all the time. Like, why are there, men in politics and stuff like that, and wars? Like, because they feel insecure. They feel small, so they got to be bigger. Like, it's dumb. But it goes like it. Yeah.
Take away the competition and the threat to each other, and just if you can act to, if every human that you meet along your life journey, that you can meet that person with love and respect and kindness and understanding, like that is a way of just changing your microcosm in the world. And if more people did that, then that's kind of
So true.
That's how we change.
It is. And it all comes from how you value yourself, how you show up for yourself. And then that's how you can move about the world, interacting with other people, because you're like, oh, I feel okay about myself. So I love myself. I can give love to other people. Like, you just have more understanding. It goes so deep.
Yeah, no, it's such a and I'm glad you raised it. It's like, it is so important to, and we almost poo-poo loving yourself as a kind of self-obsessed narcissist way, and it's not meant in that way. It's really love and care for yourself on a basic human, how do you speak to yourself every day, and how do you look after your body every day, and do you prioritize your well-being, and do you speak to yourself with love and kindness? I always some of my coaching clients, I say to them, if you spoke to your friends how you spoke to yourself, would you have friends?
Yeah. I'm laughing because Tito tells me that all the time, because I'm the first person to always say that I just hardly say anything positive about myself, honestly. But I know it's back there, so it just takes me a while to call it to the forefront. But I'm very quick to be like, nope, that was terrible. I'm terrible. I'm a horrible human being. But yeah, he says that all the time. He's like, you can't talk to him about my best friend like that. Talking to me, I'm his best friend. We're best friends. But he's like, you can't talk to my best friend like that. I'm like, oh, you're right.
It just takes practice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think filling up your self-love cup to the point that, it's so overflowing that you can then, express that with others. And I think some of the best performers that I've seen on stage are people that are just really in that self-love club of they own who they are, they love who they are, and that shines on stage. That is almost like that magnetic sparkle of being so comfortable with themselves and who they are and how they are in the world. So that magnetic stage presence, you just want to be near those people.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you would like to add at the end? Anything you want to cover, or
No.
what would be your top go away tip? Or
Oh, good. I don't have a top go away tip. I've just had a lot of fun chatting. And I hope this leads to far more bigger things. It's already big. Just, I hope it's a successful journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's my hope that people's stories and messages and life experiences within our industry and our community can branch out and inspire others.
Yeah.
Just add a little more sparkle to the world.
Yeah. That's what we all want to do. My takeaway is try a burlesque class, go to more shows.
Yes, those two things. If you learn anything from today's show.
And love yourself.
Love yourself. But thank you so much for coming, and it's such an honor and a pleasure to have you as the first guest to kick the podcast. And
this was special.
Thank you.
Thank you
So much showgirl love, and hopefully I will see you again soon.
Yes, hopefully.
Enjoy the ride of being Miss Exotic World for the next year.
Thank you. It feels like the year's already over, almost. It's not.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Behind Burlesque. I hope you feel inspired and learned something. If you like the podcast, make sure you share it with your friends. Give it a like, give it a follow, give it a subscribe. Share it with everybody that you love, and even people you don't love. We don't mind. Oh, God. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Behind Burlesque. Make sure to give us a like or share and join us next time as we have another special guest. See you then.